Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Marathon Selling Podcast. Now, I'm getting back into doing more sales content because it's just a love of mine. I mean, honestly, I tried to get away from it a little bit. I tried to just focus in on the Joe Lemon Show, but man, sales is something that's just in me. It's a sport. It's something that I keep myself competitive with, and I've learned a lot of things recently, especially after doing some sales consulting for some tech companies. I mean, I've been really extremely humbled and just honored by some of the people that have been reaching out to me on LinkedIn. So I'm finding myself, or people are finding me, I should say, in this med tech sales conversation, mainly because I've been posting about it. It's funny how that happens, right? And so I've been talking about med tech a lot. And recently I've had recent grads reach out to me, or people that are trying to break into the medical device sales industry, or just med tech as a whole. And I didn't have any content like ready to kind of give them. They asked for advice, like how do you get in? What's some good thoughts, or how you could possibly look at, starting a career in this pathway? Any recommendations if you don't have experience? Because that's one of the biggest challenges of getting into the space is that they want you to have either like a life science or a biology or clinical experience before you kind of work your way into surgical sales or medical device sales, even medical tech, like if you're talking about software sales now these days. So one thing I was thinking, like, okay, if you don't have any type of that life sciences experiences, because I didn't, I was a personal trainer, just a guy that was into like health. Like I like it personally as a hobby, and I became a personal trainer. I had a personal training business, and so I always wanted to kind of break in. But man, it took me forever, and I used to be frustrated by this. That's why I respect people reaching out to me, and I really want to try to deliver something that's going to help them move their career forward, or at least start thinking differently about it, so maybe they can find some opportunities that where they can get in at. So one thought is this: is that they're going to want you to have sales experience. So if you don't have life science experiences, if you don't have any biology or clinical experience in your background, you're going to need some sales experience. And there's a lot of ways to go about doing that, though, which is great. So historically, when people say get sales experience, they would say go work for one of the boring companies, like you're selling a commodity, or you're selling like Xerox copiers, things that where you have to kind of literally create this competitive advantage because the product or the service that you're offering isn't that differentiated, right? So it's a really good place to start, honestly. Paychecks is like another one, but any of those like services like Cintas, I think has a really good sales program. Historically, that's been a great place to start. Now, I'm not going to take that approach. I'm going to go for a different route, and I got something different, a different play. Because if I was giving myself advice, when I first got into this about almost 7 years ago, I'm not sure if I would be down to go work for Cintas or any other company, right? But it's a different day now too. Like we got communities, we got Web3, and I'm going to talk about that type of stuff. Ways that you can really build up a strong network. And let me get right into it. So the first thing I would do, and the main move I would do, matter of fact, I'm not giving you any other moves. This is the move I would do. I would launch a show in the industry that you want to take part in. So if you want to get into surgical sales, launch a show about the industry around surgical devices, technology, complications. Talk to the thought leaders in that space. And the reason why having a show is so crucial and so beneficial, man, I've been doing podcasts now for about 4 years, and I highly recommend anybody that is trying to break into any industry, launch a show about that industry. This works in healthcare. I think it works in tech. I think it applies across the board. And you could just start the show and literally just document what's happening in the news. You can start there. As you get some courage, reach out to some thought leaders in the space. And really, you don't have to make this a lifelong thing. Like you could do a 10 episode thing, right? Like just give yourself 10 episodes to kind of work and build up some street cred, like some credibility in this space. Because when you launch a show, it's like you're hosting a party. Like you literally are hosting the party. And you don't have to know like all the ins and outs of the industry to host a party. Everybody likes more exposure. People are looking to do content these days. So launching a show is a way you can bring value to someone before you look at trying to get something from them. Matter of fact, I would ask people that I'm trying to apply for, before I apply, if they can come on my show about their industry. You see what's going on here? You see how you can get and start building rapport, and don't make it weird either. Like, don't try to close them on, you come to work for them on the show or ask to kind of get hired on air. None of that weird stuff. Just keep it simple. Launch a podcast about their industry, interview them, and go off script. Don't like stick so professional. That's one thing I wish I would have done earlier in my career is, man, have fun with it. Like, enjoy the process of building up your actual business acumen, because that's what's really lacking. And whenever they wanted people to go work for those, boring companies, as I call them, like the Paychecks and the Centos, no shots at anybody working for any of those companies, but let's be honest, the products aren't that sexy. I mean, but one of the reasons they wanted you to do that is because you were forced to learn. You were forced to have some business acumen. You were forced to figure out what was happening in your potential client space so you can leverage that and create a really good business case for them, right? Of why they need to move forward with your product or your service. That was the benefit of working for those companies. Now you can do that whole gang of other ways. And so launching a show is what I'm going to recommend to anybody. I'm going to share this link to everyone and tell them that hopefully, they could consider this move, because I think it's the play. It's the way to go, man. And there's three main reasons why you want to do it, right? And I'm going to get right to this and wrap it up and let you guys go start your content making process. So one, obviously, it's going to allow you to hone your interview skills. And interviewing is crucial because anybody that knows sales knows that the questions are always more important than the answers. The questions are always more important than the answers, man. I mean, getting people to think is what the sale to me is about these days. It's challenging people to think and challenging them, to kind of get off of just stuck at neutral, right? Because a lot of times you're not going head to head with people. Yeah, that happens. But a lot of times what you're battling against is the status quo. And so getting people to get off of neutral and get into go mode and move forward with the sales process comes through questioning. You're not going to bully them into it. So you got to know how to spark interesting conversations that challenge them to think about why they should be doing business with you or why not. Literally, but the conversation needs to be explored, and honing your questioning skills is a crucial part to that. And podcasting or launching a interview-based show, or even just having an interview where you blog about it, where you just literally record your conversation and go back and blog it. Whatever medium you want is totally up to you. I choose podcasting because I got a super dope voice. That's why I do podcasting. No, but honestly, I mean, I like podcasting. I love having conversations. That's what it is for me. Number two, so hone your questioning. Number two, you're going to build your network. And this is a crucial piece in the step, right? Because a lot of times it's not only about just having the resume. I mean, I can guarantee you it's not about that. I'm working with a couple 1099 reps now that are going to be killing it. They have zero sales experience, but because they were referred to me through a client, because people knew them, they were in their network, it was easy for me to start working with them and help them get some relevant sales experience in our space. So having a network is crucial. You guys know this. It's nothing new. But that's what having a show also allows you to do. It allows you to network with the thought leaders in your space if you play it proper. So you come out, you start interviewing people that you want to go possibly work for. You interview the people that are doing talks, people that have TED Talks going on. You interview people that have over 10, 20,000, 50,000 followers on LinkedIn, and you bring them on for a 10, 20, 30-minute conversation about their space, about their industry, and let them just have at it, go off script, and just have fun with it. Man, you'll be surprised what that will do for your network. And because I tell you, the real juice happens after the show anyway. So just keep that there. And last but not least, man, this is a marathon. That's why we call it marathon selling, right? So you do this proper, and if you get into this place where you consistently roll out content in this space and you're seeking to get in, I just don't know how you won't have a job within 3 months in whatever category that you want. I just don't know how. I mean, I feel like it's impossible for you not to get hired. I know it's not impossible. That you can definitely not get hired. But with that being said, if you're doing good work and your content is getting better and better, know it's going to be ugly in the beginning. It's going to sound trash. You go back to some of my first episodes, pure garbage. I mean, so, expect all that. But outside of it, once you get through that, man, you start to get better and you hone your actual skill set in doing content and understand how to pace yourself, develop the right tone, have the right dialogue with your guest, and make it, more so about them and don't put it on you. That was one of my original sins when it comes to interviewing. I wanted to shine and I didn't let my guests get it off, right? And so make them the actual highlight, make it interesting, make them the superstars. And I'm telling you, if you stay in this thing for a little bit, and a little bit meaning less than 6 months. So this is just, if you can put your head down, I think 3, but definitely 6, man, you're going to have some interesting opportunities coming your way. So, man, I would love to know if that was any value to you. Again, I really appreciate the people that have hit me up recently. Man, I view it as a huge honor. People hit me and have questions about trying to advance their career. I would love to support you guys any way possible because I know how challenging that is. I was pissed when it took me so long to get into it. I went through a couple of the big blue chip medical device companies and they missed on me. But Elevation Medical, we are winning together, and that's what I want to help other people get set up with as well. So if that's of any value, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Share this with a friend who's trying to break into medical device. Share this with anybody that's a recent grad. Man, it's a wild time just to be graduating without experience, going where there's people that have years of experience, and there's people are getting laid off, and jobs are being frozen, and all the rest of that nonsense. It reminds me a lot of what was happening when I was coming out around the 09, 08 timeframe and looking for a gig. I had to apply to a lot of places just to find one. So I wish everyone the best of luck in the journey. If I could be of any service, any assistance, don't hesitate. Find me on LinkedIn. It's in the show notes, and I look forward to doing more of this marathon selling content. With that said, I'm out of here.